The perimeter of a certain isosceles right triangle is 16 plus 16 rad 2. What is the length of the hypotenuse of the triangle? So isosceles right triangle is one of those key words you want to be able to instantly recognize and instantly translate. Let's derive what it means here, and then once you can derive its meaning, you can just memorize it, and that way you can recognize it instantly. So if we have an isosceles triangle, an isosceles triangle is going to have two sides that are equal to each other, and therefore the angles that are opposite those two sides will also be equal to each other. And then they say we have an isosceles right triangle here. So if we add a right angle to our triangle there, and maybe it'll be easier to, it'll be more familiar if we rotate our triangle like this. So we have a right angle here, and then we have these two sides are the same, and these two angles are the same. So if this angle here is 90 degrees, and these two angles are the same, and the sum of our angles has to be 180 because it's a triangle, these two guys have to be 45. So you might recognize this as a special type of right triangle, a 45, 45, 90 right triangle. And so this has a ratio of its sides in a ratio of 1 to 1 to rad 2. And this is definitely worth just memorizing this proportion here, recognizing when you have a 45, 45, 90 right triangle, because that means that gives you a lot of information. So in this case, we can reread our question as the perimeter of a certain 45, 45, 90 right triangle is 16 plus 16 rad 2. So in our case here, so if this side is x, this side will also be x, and then this side is x rad 2. And we are looking for what is x rad 2. That is our hypotenuse. And then one thing I think they're trying to do is they're trying to trick you into thinking that our sides are 16, 16, and 16 rad 2, but that can't be, because then your perimeter would be 16 plus 16 plus 16 rad 2, so it would be 32 plus 16 rad 2. So don't fall for that. We're actually going to have to calculate this, I think. And so we have two options here. We can plug in these values for our hypotenuse and then see which ones, then from our hypotenuse we can get our legs and then choose the one that gives us this perimeter, or we can just try to calculate it directly by saying x plus x rad 2. So our perimeter is equal to 16 plus 16 rad 2. And maybe let's try and do it this way. So now we know 2x plus x rad 2 is equal to 16 plus 16 rad 2. And so then I can factor out an x from this side, and so that would give me x times 2 plus rad 2 is equal to, and then I can factor out a 16 from this side. 16 times 1 plus rad 2. So x should be equal to 16 times 1 plus rad 2 all over 2 plus rad 2. And I got to get x rad 2. Can I simplify this guy, though, anymore? So if I multiply this out again, 16 plus 16 rad 2 all over 2 plus rad 2. I don't know. I don't think so. So let's see. So now if I multiply this, because I don't want x, I want x rad 2, so it should be this guy. 16 plus 16 rad 2 all over 2 plus rad 2. That's our x, so we need x rad 2. So I multiply this by rad 2. What does that give me? So 16 rad 2 plus 16 times rad 2 times rad 2. And so that's just 2. So 16 times 2 is 32. All over 2 plus rad 2. And so here now I can factor out a 16 up top. 16 times rad 2 plus 2, and now that's all over 2 plus rad 2, and so these guys are the same thing, and these cancel out, and we get x rad 2 is equal to 16. And so B is our answer, and that was a lot more math than I thought we would be doing. So if you find an easier way, let me know. Put it in the comments or something. But that's how I would probably attempt it, even on my on an actual test.